this series for them. So they snap up the Nami first pick. We didn't see a Lucian ban away in the first 3 from either side, so expect that to be what TT pick up alongside probably Sejuani now that Maokai's picked up. And I have a feeling that Ultra Prime are probably going to go Zeri, Yuumi, or, well, no, Yuumi's banned, so Lulu in the next rotation. How exciting is the meta, guys? Honestly, it's...
So there is something interesting here at least though. So we obviously, I like that we're, maybe I like, maybe I don't actually, but the fact that we're getting the trade of ADCs, we're not getting any of that kind of up in the air bottom lane anymore. But I will say that junglers have decided to do a gentleman's agreement here. Both of them having a little bit of bias, at least Ning having played 5 games of the Sejuani will have it stolen from him by Beichuan. And the Maokai that Beichuan has found success on, not going to be available to him this time around. It is Ning piloting that one. So a lot of fun, at least in this jungle matchup to kick us off. But we're getting into the second phase of ban. Sylas ban, Renekton ban as well.
Yeah, Renekton ban. If we see another strong laning top laner, suspect that TT could be eyeing up a Jax for Hoya, potentially. Whereas on the opposite side, Sylas removed away in the mid lane. I think Ultra Prime, honestly, it'll pay off dividends to maybe just consider removing the Jax on your own end, though at that point, you may be worried about a Fiora. They're actually more concerned about Yone showing up. So they'll just take that off the board. Really, really hyper-focusing on that previous series. I don't necessarily blame them because, again, the picks were so, out of left field. But I think Sylas, Yone could also mean that Ultra Prime have opened up an angle for an R5, or an R4 rather, Azir here.
I'm really wondering what this last... Okay, well, it is the Rise. So a little bit of that, like, stable mid lane, move out of mid lane, taken away from Qing. We've seen heavy reliance on the Syndra as well as the Zoe, a classic for Qing as well. But we'll see as we get into the second phase what the pick before that counter will be. And we're looking at the solo lanes for Ultra Prime and for TT.
Exactly. Expect the more aggressive solo lanes here out of TT just because they have the Sejuani. I feel like if they can build off having some melee champions to utilize Permafrost, I think they'll definitely go for it. There's a Ksante lock-in there for Hery. So I feel like Hoya is going to be pretty comfortable going into the Jax if he really wants it. Maybe he prefers the Fiora just because he sees that it's Ksante on the opposite side. But Akali being hovered and toyed around with in the mind of Ucal will get locked in. It is blind, but again, I feel like for Ultra Prime, they could have been considering something like the Azir. So that's definitely going to dissuade that pick. And Sejuani already being locked in means that Sejuani, Akali, very, very powerful, especially at that level 6. You get that lockdown, you're going to die, right? If Sejuani finds the CC, Akali's going to have the damage.
Well, I will just say for TT, they're definitely spreading their wings a little bit more here as we're getting picks. Obviously, we said coming into this one, they have a lot of flexibility in their champ pools. Well, they're flexing that muscle even more so with the Sejuani, the Akali, and the Gnar picks all. And I'm very, okay, they're just going to stick to this tried and true for Qing. They're just going to go for the Syndra. I was wondering if they might change things up here, but they do just get a very structured comp that we wanted from Ultra Prime.
Yeah, and I feel like Syndra makes a fair amount of sense here in this slot, right? I did toy with the idea for them that perhaps they were considering Azir just because they removed away 2 diving assassins with a very strong matchup into him 1-to-1, but they give that blind pick over to Hery, and then they see that Syndra works really well here. You've got 3-4 really short range champions that are going to be diving into your ranges that you're always going to be able to execute or at the very least force out because of how much damage you can put down. TT are going to potentially want to be maybe the early aggressors just to try and alleviate some of the later on pressure in this game that Ultra Prime have drafted for themselves. With the fact that you've got
20 gold,
Syndra.
let's go!
Yeah, all right, 20 gold, it's the victory. Didn't quite see, well, I would assume both the supports got their spell thief's gold. Extra
Who
point.
get back first?
Now who gets back to base first? Apparently it's going to be
oh, wait. Okay. Yeah, I just baited him. Said, oh, Baolan thinks I'm going to back. No. We do love to hear some of those Gyos. Still a sleepy crowd, it feels like, a little bit going into the second series. They're just getting ready to go here. But should be, I feel like, a big step in the right direction for both these two teams. Obviously not the successes they've wanted to see so far, but it has been that slow and steady progression for both of them.
Yes, it has been so far, and very early on in the season for both, right? So story definitely left unfinished, and I think on that note of progression, I've definitely definitely liked TT's, not just because of the recent win, but also just the nature in which they did it against IG. As the next coach, it's very, very lovely to see that kind of adaptation come out, especially when you feel like perhaps, you know, IG are a very tricky team to play against, right? I think meta definitely works in their favor. And just in general, I know Mojo's a big thing here in the LPL, and it feels like definitely the IG side have it on their side. So TT taking that, trying to move forward with that momentum and perhaps a little more creativity and flexibility that Ultra Prime haven't necessarily shown us thus far.
Look at this.
Potentially give it to us.
The ward spotting out Ning on top side means Beichuan is full and ready to go for this bot lane gank at level 3. The full clear has come out already. Oh no, Doggo. Okay, he's going to spot him out there. Will not go for that engage. The 1v1 initiated at least as Huanfeng dashing in. Now Doggo, you're in some trouble, but he's kiting away. Oh my god, Doggo so close to getting the kill, traded back on a Beichuan. That's a thumbs up from Ultra Prime.
Yeah, I've got to say, if TT were more on the ball there, they could have forced way more out of Doggo. It has to be said, I feel. The fact that Beichuan doesn't commit for the immediate permafrost stun, and Huanfeng, I don't want to say took his time getting up there, but definitely it felt like a little bit half-hearted. Unsure that ward was going to get placed as well. Beichuan loses his flash pretty much for a barrier trade. So maybe if TT go for an all-in, knowing that they have the summoner spell advantage, they can find you know, a 2v2, but the issue is, one, Zeri Lulu, honestly, I've seen this lane win more times than I've seen Nami Lucian win.
Yeah.
Also, you'll notice the summoners are actually more on the defensive side for Nami Lucian here, for Huanfeng and Yao Yao, more looking towards perhaps the mid game to try and find some impact. And then, you know, saw that 40-minute mark when you've got that mandate plus the Gale Force. That's where they're looking to potentially hit the hardest here against Ultra Prime.
I've been really interested at the barrier meta for bot lane. Do you have any thoughts on you know, when you should not take barrier?
Now, look, I'm not a bot laner, and frankly, I feel like it's one of those times where if you feel like there's nothing to cleanse, in this case, there is a Sejuani.
Okay.
So I'm not sure what Doggo's thought process is, but my thought process is normally you'll take barrier if there's nothing to cleanse, and you know your support wants to take heal because ignite is kind of pointless now. That's about it.
Okay.
Other than that, I'm not really sure when and why you'd go barrier. Besides then, so yeah, I feel Doggo just takes it in this matchup because he feels like it's very much necessary to survive as well. That's the other obvious key thing about taking barrier, and it has a very short cooldown individually. Okay, I want to say it's 3 minutes. Same cooldown as ignite. As you are so correct. Qing is getting the far better end of these trades, as to be expected though in the early stage against
Beichuan, catastrophe. He pinged like 5 times on the missing ping. Oh, my stuff is gone. Feels bad, man. Doesn't even have the vision clear anymore. Had already used the scanner, and his side of the jungle is littered in vision. Now Beichuan maybe actually just taking that preemptive strike, knowing that they just came to bot side, realizing Ning's going to be on top side. Goes for this early dragon.
Yeah, really smart adaptation here from Beichuan actually, and I feel like he's doing it because he may actually feel like his Prags are also gone, but either way, it's going to be a pretty clean dragon take-up because Qing in the mid lane actually just took a reset, teleported back. Ucal had mid lane priority, and you saw Huanfeng and Yao Yao there also had bot side prio, so it's going to be a free dragon take-up.
That is second clear though.
Feel too bad about it. It is second clear. However, one thing to note is dragons very early on actually do give you a whole bunch of XP. And there is also a moderately unknown rubber banding attached to Dragon XP. I don't know if it's been changed recently. Oh, I might have to hold the point. Hery looks like he's alright. But if you as the jungler take the Dragon Mouse being lower than the average level in the game, which typically means very early on, you get, I can't remember the flat amount of bonus XP. I want to say it's 20%.
Oh, interesting.
So it's actually not too bad to take very early on. And usually it's kind of the counterpoint to, you know, having a lot of early aggression come out. A lot of early aggression, you might fall behind in level, but if you can take the dragon, you can catch up in XP on that.
True. We are seeing that Ultra Prime wanted to move towards bottom lane. Doggo getting tanked down there. Beichuan showing his way here as well. Ning maybe hovering back towards this mid lane at least. But TT willing to follow in the trail of Ning a little bit. We would think that Beichuan might look to focus on Ucal, maybe even Hoya a little bit more so, but has been willing to kind of respond to Ning's constant pressure and presence down bot lane.
Yep. Answered well enough so far. I feel, did he just throw? Did he just throw the minion at Ning to level him up? I think he did.
That's actually kind of OP.
Yeah, all right, cool. Qing and Ning, the synergy is just so on point.
It's so good. It's so good. Okay, so the vision game is definitely here. He's gonna get a little bit. Wanted to try to visit mid lane. Ucal still pretty slippery on this. Akali also has gotten the Mercury treads first. Got a lot of boots completed first items here in this game as well.
Yeah, Mercs just makes a lot of sense though, right?
It really
Maokai,
does.
Syndra, MR just to not get one shot, but also just Merc treads to try and negate a lot of that CC. Now,
look at this.
Sports are actually opening up mid, which makes me wonder, will there be a Herald contest in the near future? Ning gets a full mid wave of XP.
Does.
So
I'm wondering though, I mean, they're still level 5 coming to this Rift Herald fight here, so I want to set the stage, as it definitely looks like Beichuan going to come in here. Doesn't need level 6 on Yao Yao, as they have level 6 on everyone else. Ning very low and down. Yao Yao picks up first blood for TT.
Yeah, and there's no stage to set if TT just break it in half before there's even an opportunity for Ultra Prime to get their routine started. Really, really nice stuff from TT. To just find the engage Beichuan, Glacial Prison, and the lockdown is there. Ning has nothing to flash, apparently, throughout the course of that. So Herald will go over, and you suspect they will go and give it to Huanfeng and Yao Yao and get a replay. As it starts quite late, so I suspect, well, Ning was just looking for vision. And there's not really much to say. He can maybe flash to the side and try and avoid the perfect execution, but Akali's missile speed and that ability is so fast, it can be tricky, especially at an angle like that, to get away from. So first blood goes over to TT. It was claimed by Yao Yao though, somehow, so won't feel too bad.
Not too much going that way yet. I mean, one kill is good, but now I'm looking at where Rift Herald for Beichuan is going to go and see where those resources kind of dealt out. Again, we were looking at Ucal to get a lot of the resources for TT, but plans might change with how much pressure, again, this bot lane has had. And now that you have a little bit of resources, I guess, going bot lane for yourself. Still a lot of pressure from Doggo and Baolan down there. Clearing is Ning, and he's perfectly fine with this, and I think they are opting into that late game scaling that Ultra Prime drafted.
Yep, definitely. Late game is going to be very, very King, it feels, for Ultra Prime with the Zeri. And I feel like Qing is going to have such a strong selection of champions to hit, but also just his kit, I feel like, does really, really well into TT's lineup. So excited to see what he'll be able to get done. I think Ucal may end up having a pretty tough time in this game if he doesn't get going, or if TT don't help him get going, just because Syndra's really great at deterring a lot of the engages, and Ning as well is always going to be able to just twisted advance and try and you know, lock down. And even if she shrouds it, right, you'll always know where she ends up because Ning will follow to the destination. Yeah. If he gets the cast off. As hold on, all out from Hery.
The dodged out. Hoya just fine in that one. There was something interesting I found when I was looking at TT. They have a 14% first tower percentage, but they have a 71.4% first blood percentage. And we're seeing it work here with a little bit of that movement towards that mid lane, towards this Rift Herald fight. We'll obviously still have to check it on that tower percentage, but they're sticking to what works for them and finding that early kill.
Yeah, patterns definitely playing out in the first blood department. We'll see whether or not they can transfer into a tower. Very interesting, that point.
14% first tower percentage. I mean, first tower is always like the most crucial thing, but that feels bad for sure.
But it can often paint a picture of how an early game is going for a team, though, right? Because first tower is a fairly consistent indicator that you are having at least one strong lane go your way. It's not 100% one-to-one, but you know, if a tower's dying first on your side, most times you have at least one lane that's going your way. Now, speaking of a lane that is going your way, I feel like the bottom side hasn't really been one that has been to write home about, but it's gotten them the pressure and the priority to maybe get the second dragon locked in, and Ucal's actually coming for a flank as well.
Tidal wave across with the culling on top. Flash comes out from Ning. Nature's Grasp is back. Doggo on the side. They could have a decent setup here. Ultra Shock Laser doesn't go in, but the Scat of the Week does. Beichuan's down. Doggo's forward. He might be taking a little bit of inspiration from our last series with that move forward, but it will be Ultra Prime moving through, cleaning out TT and taking their first dragon.
Yeah, just TT pulling the trigger a little bit too early. They're trying to control the choke, which is really nice fundamental gameplay, but unfortunately the engage just falls short, and as soon as that happens, Ultra Prime realize they have all of the economy on their side. However, this dragon isn't going down fast.
They're still going
Beichuan isn't here though, is the crucial thing. So it won't get stolen away, and it will just be one apiece. And Mazel, is it windy today where you are? Or
you know, I don't think so, but apparently we got a wind advisory in the LPL as we get another Cloud Dragon. That'll be 3 in a row on the day. I mean, hey, so I guess I want to know that if it's just going to be Cloud Dragon all day, who does that favor here? Do we just have an outright winner? I mean, we said red side just wins, but do we have an outright Cloud Soul winner?
Well, I feel like TT don't have any like outstanding Cloud users, whereas Ultra Prime do because they have Zeri. So yeah, sure, and that's on red side. So unfortunately, I guess again, going back to it, Ultra Prime are gonna win the game.
Patterns, Doggo, man, patterns.
Doggo will be MVP.
This small little world that we live in, Jamada. This small little world that we live in. It's all about patterns. We'll see. Yeah, it's really Beichuan and the rest. Yeah, they really want to. Missing, though, the Glacial Prison. Doggo's still taking a decent chunk as Nature's Grasp comes across. Ning wants to get him over the wall, at least maybe helping Qing the flash. He's like, I just can't get to the blast code. I just have to flash.
Yeah, didn't want to risk it at all, though I feel like he was probably fine. Doggo ate a massive chunk of damage, though. It looks like with the retreat of Huanfeng and Yao Yao, however, he's going to be able to pick up the wave uncontested. So he's not gonna feel terrible. Now, someone who may feel terrible in a second is Hery, because this roam from Ucal looks pretty damn lethal.
He's getting close to getting the Mega Gnar from Hoya. He wants to get the setup here. Can Hery survive? Gets the knockback, healing up a little bit more, but Ucal and Hoya are just too strong. So Malco gaining in a death to Hery.
Yeah. Ucal picks up the kill, and we need to see, for the TT's perspective, you can't get rolling because, again, I feel like this Ultra Prime lineup has a lot of good tools. All right, we spoke about Qing and Ning, but let's not forget as well, he's got to deal with Polymorph throughout as well if things going to get more frustrating. So a kill to the good to get Ucal towards that first item is going to be super important. So see whether or not he can keep that momentum going for himself. And this pick comes at a time where Herald is respawning and Hery doesn't have teleport, so this should also just turn into an objective. So really nice from the TT solo laners. However, Ultra Prime, they're not looking to necessarily give this one up for free.
It's the seed that you sow, and TT definitely bearing some fruit in their seeds. We have, though, those first items, like you were saying, don't think it's going to make the difference for Ultra Prime. They will just concede this one, unless... Okay, we got a little zoom in from the observer. I was like, ooh, maybe. But we do have the Gale Force completed as well, the Shield Bow, Demonic Embrace completed first for Ning, but is the Radiant Virtue already completed for Beichuan too? And I do wonder where this Rift Herald's going to go. We saw it go, at least try get a little bit more resource for them. They have a decent advantage, so I'd love to see more delivered to Ucal or even Huanfeng.
I think, for me, Huanfeng is on spike right now, and not that I feel like Lucian doesn't scale, because he is a carry that builds crit at the end of the day, but
LPL Lucians scale. That's the caveat.
Okay,
that's what I found.
LPL Lucians do scale. All right, you know what? Nice counterpoint. I agree. I'm just going to concede that. I feel like, however, if you can get Akali really, really fed and just give her any kind of, you know, artificial increase in gold, the stronger she's always going to feel. Whereas with Huanfeng and Yao Yao, I feel like as a duo, they're always going to be quite relevant. And they shouldn't be falling too far behind. And they should have pressure. I mean, you can see like Doggo, Baolan, they're just stepping back. They don't want to ever get, you know, Gale Force E'd on. Because they know it will be a significant chunk of HP that they're not going to be able to get back. And that's the pressure they're always going to be able to leverage. So I think for the Herald question, yeah, just try it and see if you can give it to Ucal. Because the further ahead you can get to Akali, I think the more freedom she can at least try to have in this game.
Hoya down from Gnar, take a nice little trade back to mid lane. Huanfeng using that culling to try and get some more damage onto the tower here. Dragon set up in 35 seconds. We've had the trade back and forth. We already have Ning heading into that direction, get some vision down, as the priority in the side lane will and mid lane will mean a lot as Rift Herald dropped by TT.
Yeah, TT Herald drop mid tower as well. If you're ignoring the gold factor, get this mid tower down. You've got Nami Lucian. It's gonna feel so good just to be able to get a lot of pressure. That's step too far forward from Ning.
They have to concede the dragon as well, it looks like. I mean,
yeah.
I think, yeah, it looks like it's just going to go down. I mean, I guess Ning could wrap around, but the back already coming through from Baolan. Doggo in the middle. Okay, Baolan stopping it, but it is just that objective. Going to TT, which will set them up for the far future, and a little bit more of that gold lead separation over Ultra Prime.
Exactly. Doggo.
It was that spike you were talking about.
Yeah. Bone playing eats a fair amount of the junk, though, so feel okay about it. Dragon's going to go over to TT. And, you know, today just feels so slow. Mazel, like
a lot of reservation, for sure.
Yeah. Okay, we'll be professional. A lot of reservation, right? A lot of tense.
Be professional, he said.
We'll do our best. It just feels our teams today are not necessarily willing to commit to anything.
Well, I'll say, especially this side lane, like Hery is committing. Hoya's the one that don't want the smoke. All right, like he's just hanging out.
True. Yeah, Hery was eyeing up maybe an all-out angle there as well. Couldn't quite find it past the wall. Oh, he's gonna do it now.
He's got it. There it is. Nature's Grasp comes out. The knock-up still not gonna connect though. Can't get the connection on the Nature's Grasp either. TP coming in from Ucal, and he'll just take down Hery here. He should at least. There you go. TT find themselves another kill and try to chase down Ning on the other side of it.
Won't find the tree though. He will escape. Yeah, gonna get chased down. We'll just recall in this bush. Doesn't look like anyone on the TT side is gonna find this one out. As Qing.
Oh no, Qing can't do anything. He's got at least the power unleashed there used, but now he has nothing left. And now Hoya's a big mean monster. See if he can actually clean this kill up. Get it into my belly. There you go. Okay, maybe not the belly, but you'll get hit by a satellite. And Hoya picks up the side lane solo bolo.
Nice cheeky solo bolo. TT getting advantages across the map there, right? Find their pick on the bottom side, get the pick on the top side. As play actually went down here in the lane. Thank you very much, observers, highlighting that to us. So yeah, did lose his flash for it. I guess that recall didn't turn into a recall and actually ended up being a flag.
True.
In the end. Very creative from Ning. But both these teams, again, you know, very tentative about going forward for the most part in terms of, you know, grander plays so far. I feel like Ning's attempt at a flank there was perhaps one of the more braver opportunities on a team-wide basis that we've seen from Ultra Prime so far.
We get to see this side lane push as well. As started off with Hery going all out, trying to get him in the side lane. Then Ucal came and cleaned house there. Also ended up, obviously, we see it down already in the replay here, but ended up getting that first tower percentage up a little bit for TT, Jamada.
Yeah, not bad at all.
Better than 14%.
Stats up. Better than 14%. Can't go wrong.
What is this hover? We have such a big hover from TT around the Baron pit now. And really feels like both teams just kind of struggling finding some direction on the map in these kind of lull periods.
Yeah, TT definitely have a little more vim about their movement on the map, whereas Ultra Prime feels like they're being a lot more responsive to what TT are doing right now. Definitely tried, right, through that play on the bottom side at the very least, so it's not like Ultra Prime are entirely sat on their hands, but they're definitely not moving around with as much intent as
That's
TT
all three
are.
outer
They
towers.
will take, yeah, they'll take this outer tower. That makes all three. So pressure slowly mounting in that regard, and those towers being down should in theory mean that TT, from any given lane that they decide, should have a little more first move at the very least. Though again, Ultra Prime okay with the game being slow if it means Doggo can maybe get to a 3-item mark. We've seen what Zeri's with 3-4 items can do today already.
We've seen what Doggo can do as well. I know On was very aggressive last game. Well, Doggo's about in the same vein. We will see the Shadow Flame completed for Ucal. So Ucal's already on that second item. The resources have been delved correctly here for TT, it feels like. And Ucal is at a very strong point to help Beichuan in these setups for him.
I want to see Ucal actually get involved in a fight that isn't just murdering half HP Ksante. I think if he's able to get on top of Doggo or Qing at the moment, he will actually just shred them. Shadow Flame as the Pro Belt is a lot of magic pen, as
Hoya's been
actually
setting
more
this
Hery
up from
back.
a mile
Yeah.
here. Oh, they got the slow, nice mechanics. Man, Ucal, you're just too damn good.
So clean, excellent stuff from TT's mid lane, and with the top laner from Ultra Prime dead. That should be the dragon, though. Playing the mid lane from TT.
Beichuan just kind of going off there, King. Just went for the engage onto Ning on the other side of the fight, but a little bit of that forward aggression sets up for the dragon play of TT onto Soul Point.
Hey man, I'm down for a little bit of forward aggression, and TT just
I thought maybe they get this 2-2 as well.
Nah, it's going to be cleared away. Syndra wave clear a little bit too powerful, but that's Cloud Dragon number 2 and Dragon number 3 for TT, which means Soul on the menu next. And Ultra Prime in that regard, definitely running out of time. You definitely don't want to give over a Soul a lot of the time. So we'll see whether or not they fight before then. And I think the crucial tracker really, it feels, is that Ultra Prime needs to get Doggo to 3 items, and I was also going to say get Qing to 2. It seems like he's just finished that up Archangel.
He did, yeah.
He's got that completion. I feel like that's the checklist for Ultra Prime right now.
I still feel
right
like
now
there's a bit of a ticking time bomb, for sure. In Ultra Prime, where we've seen them play a lot reserved in the early part of the game, I think it's too designed. But now they've put themselves against the wall where they kind of have to contest the dragons unless they just want to give Soul over. And this is where you're going to need to see a little bit more of that proactivity when we get to these items. By speaking proactivity, it ain't a caster curse anymore. Yao Yao's down.
Yep. Sushi for dinner, anyone? It's a very, very, very cliche one, I know, but Yao Yao just gets removed through here with nothing. Yao Yao can do it all.
Qing, man.
Yeah, so much damage. And I mean, that pick, 4 versus 5, Nami is actually huge in the pit, right? The tidal wave can split apart a team so easily. So Ultra Prime are actually taking this opportunity to get the Baron slide up. They're even calling Hery up for the TP early, so they want to commit to this potentially. We'll see if the turnaround comes out. TT's still working with all of their strong members.
Ucal and the rest of TT have a pretty strong gold advantage here. This is a iffy fight from Ultra Prime. They're going to try to get Hoya. He's going Mega Gnar, though. Onto Doggo. Doggo flashes. It's just a front to back that Ultra Prime will take all day long. As Hery gets the knockback. Beichuan back into the team. They're just shoveling the resources into the mouth of Ultra Prime.
It's cool and calculated from Ultra Prime. They get the 1 pick on Yao Yao, and they just say, you know what? Baron is pretty doable here. Hoya oversteps. He doesn't find a massive Gnar ultimate. That's the threat, really. And then the follow-up can come through from Ucal and from Beichuan. And Huanfeng should be pretty free to hit whoever he wants. But once that Gnar ultimate whiffs and there's nothing to lock down any of the Ultra Prime members, the turnaround is super free, and TT falls to the wayside. They give up the Baron buff. And all of a sudden, a game which felt like Ultra Prime were waiting to come online on means that with the Baron buff, they can be the aggressors after TT have been the aggressors for so long.
That damage combo, literally just Qing murdering Yao Yao. And then we get the fight afterwards. That flash from Doggo breaks this fight.
Yeah, it does. Take a look at Hoya as he steps forward. As well, doesn't find anything. And as you call out, Doggo's flash just means that he doesn't get knocked back. I'll be honest, even if he doesn't flash, I don't think he would have had to after he gets turned around on by the Gnar ult. So Ultra Prime all in the mid lane now, shoving along in the A ramp. Ucal's on the side lane. His teleport's coming up soon. He's got on a tier 2. How much further will he go? Because he knows Ultra Prime will take this tier 2. Does he feel like they're going to be able to go straight through the inhibitor tower he's resetting? So the answer looks like yes. You could see Ning just pop his ultimate.
They haven't taken any other tower. It's just been mid lane. They have about a minute and 20 seconds on the Baron buff. You have Ucal joining the fight now, having completed his Magi's. TT are feeling confident. Beichuan was on the side with the Glacier Prison, but doesn't pull the trigger.
A ramp, a ramp, a ramp. That's the chant going through Ultra Prime's head right now.
A ramp. Where's the snow?
Dropping low.
I need Butcher's Bridge or the snow. Another tower falls, and just like that, 3 fall. The engage power at least almost kills Huanfeng. But look at Beichuan. He's got the engage here. Ucal's going in as well. Gnar not there, but into the wall goes 3. And Ucal helps set up the beautiful alley-oop that was TT's team fight. Just like that, Ultra Prime running away. Ning chased down by the might that is Thunder Talk Gaming.
Tee each other up, Ucal and Hoya, for an excellent team fight. There is still a tower there because, yeah, why wouldn't there?
He's still alive, somebody kill him.
Yeah, really smart from Ning, actually, to go underneath the tower, because what TT were doing there was staggering his death timer to ensure that Dragon can be a lot more free to take, and it should be free to pick up. And honestly, massive team fight coming out from Thunder Talk, because if they don't find that momentum breaking turnaround, Ultra Prime probably get the inhibitor and so much more. And you just see Ucal dives in, tidal wave hits so many members as well. Beichuan in the middle of it all, permafrost onto Qing, but it's this Mega Nut ult, even though he gets shifted back 3 into the wall. Whilst Ucal, even though he got
such a monster, man.
Yeah, Ucal, even though he gets all out of the fight, finds his way back in with Shuriken flip. And TT, they've got the soul now of the heroics.
It just literally feels like we're in class. Ucal's doing like advanced trigonometry, finding the angles, and you've got Ultra Prime there just sitting there trying to do like 1+1. This angle is acute, and the other one's obtuse. It just feels like Ucal is able to dictate a lot of these fights with the setup from the rest of the team. That's what we wanted to see come to success for TT. We know that Ucal can carry. We've seen it time and time again, but it's about the team setting him up for success, and boy, is he set up.
Basically got handed a layoff in that, or a layup rather.
They're gonna find him. Oh no!
Yeah, that's tough.
Power unleashed. Oh, Qing's still alive.
Oh!
Wild growth for Baolan, and the heal clutch as ever.
Wow. Very, very good reactions there. And very fortunate from Qing that he had his teammates by his side, because TT definitely found a very, very strong pick there. They're still going to rotate up towards the top side, but imagine if the Syndra's dead right here. This is probably a very easy tier 2 to take. I think it might still be an easy tier 2 to take, because Ultra Prime are very slow to the rotational defense. Perhaps they try and pull the trigger of the Nature's Grasp. Yeah.
Doggo's moving forward, trying to catch Huanfeng, but can't do it. They at least defend the turret, but it will not lead to any kills going their way.
All right. No kills going their way, and the defense just resumes. Baron's up in 60 seconds time, a little bit less than that. So I imagine if TT want to try and get this one started to find themselves a good fight, they will. No, not 600 gold. Bruh.
Come on, man. No, that's fine. I did want to highlight, I was going to make a point about Ucal having finished his 4th item now. I think we're just seeing the stacking up go this way, and now they have that soul. They have a lot of strength on the map and a lot of forward aggression here with Beichuan leading the charge. Maybe not even lead the charge. Oh my god, it was close to Huanfeng just getting the pick off on Doggo.
Very close. I mean, gets the flash though. Very, very important for Ultra Prime, as he's got the Infinity Edge. He's got a Last Whisper as well. He is super strong, and without that flash, he's not going to be able to aggress as easily as he'd probably like. Qing gets a lot of damage into everyone, but TT, they're there to get the tower, and they get it, and it looks like it's going to be for free, though they're getting chased down.
Wild Growth is available to help follow up for Baolan, but it is the tidal wave back, and now Ucal skirting around the edges with Hoya on the backline there. Not having Mega Gnar means they can't get the setup for that big wall ulti. Looks like the setup will not be there for TT, so they back away, get some resets off, and UP just try to kind of lick their wounds at this point, get some more gold out of that. They still have their scaling options. but it's looking harder to come by here.
Yeah, it really is looking harder. TT are just kind of playing at arm's length right now. And they're not really giving Ultra Prime much the option to actually find a good 5v5 at the moment, which is definitely to their benefit. They do have the items to fight TT. They're ahead by 5,000 gold, so it's not like they don't have that power. And I mean, Beichuan definitely feels it because he continually goes on to do things like this, but it's just not followed up on. They get the resources burnt.
He's just so tanky, man. He heals so much. And he just has so much health to deal with. You got to look at the side lanes, though, as Ucal is in that top side of the map. It's going to be something Ultra Prime have to deal with. And right now, TT are just trying to use all this pressure from all three lanes to force the hand of Ultra Prime.
And it's finally going to cascade down into this Baron. Ucal's playing bodyguard.
He's dead.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, the sapling's
luckily, he's Maokai. Let's go.
Yeah. All right. Slows that
one.
Oh,
we got the TP from Qing.
Back from base. So it's not from a side lane or anything.
He's got the Void staff
covering. Yeah. Void. Very, very big. And it's definitely going to help him chunk down Beichuan. In particular, who's got the Merc Treads and the Radiant Virtue. So getting through that front line is one of the ports of call right now for Ultra Prime because Beichuan is playing so aggressively. And I think he's doing it as well in particular because he's got the Warmogs, right? So you play aggressively if you can get the disengage going. You don't have to go back to base. Just let the Warmogs do its thing. So getting all of those armor pen, magic pen items just to be able to cut through the front line and maybe just execute the gameplay style he's going for is really big now. Qing.
So we have fourth item completed here for Huanfeng. Not fourth item completed for Doggo. Dragon, Elder Dragon in 50 seconds. And the potential for TT to force your hand around Baron. This is a sticky situation for Ultra Prime.
Yeah, but I feel like if TT leave this any longer, then all of a sudden you have to fight between Baron or Elder. Or if you lose the one fight in front of either buff, you lose both buffs. And that's not ideal. So I wonder if TT may be pressured into making any kind of play beforehand. Hoya's actually on the cusp, precipice of hitting that Gnar bar as well. So this is a decent time for TT to fight. But it just doesn't look like they're going to take it though, Beichuan. He's on the angle.
Ucal's in the side lane right now, about to be pushing onto an inhib tower. Beichuan has flanked TP now coming in right through the uprights on the Baolan, but they can't get the follow-up. Tidal wave now, Hoya looking for the big Mega Gnar. They have such an interesting position for TT, but Huanfeng gets decimated there. And Ultra Prime, they're just going to start up the Elder Dragon.
They're just burning it down as quickly as they can for now, but Beichuan is here, so it can't be a 50-50.
Sketchy, man.
It's so sketchy, but Hoya's just lost Mega. He's also kind of out of position. He's going to be exhausted. He's not going to be a big part of this fight.
The Predator in the wings here. Can Ucal make the difference? He's gotten all the resources. TT are committing to the fight. Perfect execution in the backline. They're all going down, though. The club fight. You cannot break the armor of the Ultra Prime monster. And they're confident to start back up this Elder Dragon.
And Beichuan's dead.
My God, Qing! He's down! Hoya and Huanfeng, they combine to make sure Qing is not alive anymore. Ultra Prime, they've lost a lot of their setup, and they go right back onto the Elder Dragon.
Qing was the one that kept the fight alive, though, for Ultra Prime. So with him dead, will Ucal be able to find a positive fight? There's still no jungler. They're committing. But
TP a little bit late, instantly jumped out of as Elder Dragon secured for Ultra Prime.
All right. Oh, my God. Take a breath. Everyone, Ultra Prime, get the Elder. Baron's still on the map. Suspect that they'll get that. What I would really actually like to see is them siege potentially without the Baron that I think they're probably just going to go pick up anyway. Because if they try and see if they can break the inhibitor, then go back to Baron. Try and maybe elongate that pressure. But yeah, that polymorph's so clutch. The Scatter of the Weak as well initially to break up the fight from Qing is excellent. Beichuan commits a little bit too far forward for his own good. Huanfeng just finds the angle. Brief second. Auto Gale Force, crit first strike. So much damage comes through. Able to get out of there, and then Hoya eventually Mega Gnar's back up. Now Ultra Prime, they're in front of the Baron. They're just going to take this buff right now. Seems like, and then they're going to go and try and siege with both the Mega buffs up and available.
TT trying to make something happen before they know that Ultra Prime get this Baron. They have Hoya in the side lane. Beichuan is behind the pit. Can he get a miracle steal? He's got the blast cone as well.
Guys, they know he's there though.
He's over
in
the wall,
pit now.
3000. He's got a lot of health.
Wait, it's going low
Dragon, he doesn't get it. Ning kills him. Execution comes through. Qing is the bounty gold there. And now Hoya has found a little bit of pressure in the side lane, but Ultra Prime come away with both buffs.
Yeah, they've got both buffs. I mean, my main concern now is that TT have used the duration of their Elder buff to get the Baron. So I really hope they can get use out of the Baron, because definitely the Elder buff is the stronger buff overall.
Yeah, for sure.
30 seconds left. They should get the mid lane inhibitor for free. I feel like TT are probably just going to yield it. No reason to really go too crazy over the defense here.
I see Anathema's completed for Ning, actually. TT also just need to defend here, as you said, probably giving this inhib down, not giving too much unless they overextend. But it also, I mean, they still have the buff. For 10 more seconds, they could even get one of these Nexus towers down. It looks like that's the case here. Oh,
yeah, they're going for it at the very least.
It's a little bit of trouble here. Bubble not connecting. Hoya getting stacked up with the Mega Gnar. They can't get the last Nexus tower here. They have more Baron minions. They still have 2 minutes on this Baron buff, and the siege potential is engaged on here. As now TT with that lightning crest, Doggo, he just takes them down. Hoya can't land the big Mega Gnar ulti, and you've got stopwatched in time, and you'll never come out of it, TT. Ultra Prime, put the gas into the tank and say, vroom, vroom, we're out of here.
Oh, this one was close, but TT couldn't quite dot the I's, cross the T's, and Ultra Prime, the scaling pays off, and Doggo comes online on the Zeri, and he takes over the game after a very excruciating couple of team fights, where eventually Ultra Prime do manage to find themselves that dragon. Hello, I'm sat very low. I haven't gotten up yet. Mazel, catch for me whilst I get myself ready.
I'll help you get up. I don't know if I can. Oh, I'm going the wrong way. I'm going the wrong way. I gotta help you pick yourself up. But in reality, Ultra Prime picked themselves up. I think getting to see Doggo, again, we set up. He is that late game carry for this team. He has 33% of the damage done for this squad. And you can see where that structure in the early game, willingness to let that early game go the way it did, and knowing that they have this insurance with them. It was incredible stuff for Ultra Prime to stick with it, even at moments where you thought TT might just run away with it.
Yeah, definitely a lot of strong resilience there. And I just feel like compositionally, for TT, if they don't get, far enough ahead, it's always going to feel quite difficult. And they were getting to a point where they were almost there, but a couple of major missteps and no real ability, it felt like, to actually push a larger lead than they already had was enough of a space for Ultra Prime, unfortunately, to feel comfortable enough to actually make a comeback in some of those team fights. And again, Doggo, Qing, Baolan, these are all players with champions pretty much suited to shut down all of those assassins, or specifically the assassin in Ucal that was there on the Akali. So TT didn't really end up having a leg to stand on.
We had everything go to plan, though. I think it's actually hilarious. I guess to some extent. TT got first tower, so that's a little bit different. They got first blood, but guess what? Red side won again. Both teams have never won this split on blue side yet. And maybe we'll get that change of the sides.
Very interesting. I wonder who's getting MVP as well.
Who knows? All right, who knows? Who could it possibly be? The fact that Ning did more damage than everybody else in the game, that bothers me.
Yeah.
He went straight AP too, I believe.
Maokai continues to just.
Oh, I guess not. Damage. He went the Anathemas and the Radiant. Sorry.
Yeah, which makes it worse, by the way.
Look at his damage to gold percentage.
That made it 228%. Yeah, that's all right, mate. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah,
that's fine. It's fine.
Maokai's a man of champions, friends. I think he's in a really good state. Doesn't need to be nerfed.
I think Ning is fine giving that one over, or at least giving over the Sejuani that he's been so comfortable on.
Yeah, I was about to say he's been on that Sejuani so much, and of course we're on 13.1. It's not been nerfed because it's not the hotfix patch, but still, it's so ridiculous to see. Great game though from Ultra Prime and of course Ning, but the rest of the crew really did a great job at just stalwart defense so that TT couldn't cross the line.
Well, Doggo and Ucal both got the resources they wanted, but Doggo was able to come out on top with them. We'll see if TT can bounce back in game number 2.